This is amazing. I love what he said. So the 5th century Greek writer we know as Dionysius, we know because we don't know his name. He said he was Dionysius, but it's not true. We know as Dionysius. The Areopagite once said, this is amazing, as he grew older and wiser, his books got shorter and shorter. So the wiser you are, the less you have to say. Because you realize that all of your knowledge is not true. You become wise enough to see the inner contradictions of your own perspectives and how you look at reality. My favorite philosopher by far, Socrates, the master of Plato, and then Plato was the master of Aristotle. Socrates, of course he was killed by the Greeks because he was too intelligent. When you are too intelligent, you make many people angry. So Socrates was no exception. And he was always asking the so-called experts about things. And the experts very quickly would start contradicting themselves. So Socrates realized that nobody knew anything really. Apart from, do you know who were the only people that knew something according to Socrates? You don't know? Artists. You can use this to defend the arts. Socrates said that artists, or artifices, as they were called back then, they were the only ones that really knew something. Because, for example, a sculptor must be able to sculpt. A painter must be able to paint. At least back then. Everyone else is just talking. And when you talk, you can make up stories. You can create whole mythologies and pretend they are true. Socrates realized that everybody was ignorant apart from artists. But even artists, he said, had a problem. They knew something about the craft they were doing, but very quickly they would start talking about things they didn't know anything about. So Socrates also criticizes artists for giving opinions which are unfundamented. But back to the story. One of his friends goes to the oracle of Delphi, the most sacred place in the whole of Greece. And in the oracle of Delphi, the god Apollo would reveal the future through the Sybil. She could predict the future, how she would enter a state of trance and she would start saying things that seemed illogical, that seemed irrational. But those illogical ideas and those irrational ideas could predict the future much better than conscious thinking. She was asked, who is the wisest man in Greece? And she replied, Socrates is the wisest man. She probably used a voice like, Socrates is the wisest. So the friend went back to Athens and he told Socrates, the Sybil said that you are the wisest living man. And Socrates was always saying, but I don't know anything. How can I be the wisest man? And finally, he reached the conclusion, and it's a very famous conclusion. I am the wisest because I'm the only one that knows that I know nothing. Everyone else thinks they know something, but I'm the only one that knows that I know nothing. And maybe that's why the Sybil considered me the wisest man.